Hello, everybody. Welcome back to YourStory.com. I'm your business editor, Vishal Krishna, and as usual, Your Story brings you some amazing startups, and we bring you corporate that really make a difference in India and for the globe, right? Hi, guys, for joining us. Hi, Gupta. Hi, Karthik. Rashmi, Emmanuel, good to see you again. Saran. Okay, market of finance, Stall India, good to see you. Emmanuel. Karan, good to see you again as usual. Yug, nice to see you, man. How are you? Market of Finance, nice. Tulsi, good to see you. I need coffee. That's amazing. That's a nice handle. Hi, Pari. Is it? Hi, Pari. Good to see you. Hi, Rick. Today we're going to talk about Make in India, guys. Make in India, make India proud. It's about ventilators. I'm going to be talking to BPL Medical Technologies, which is an amazing company. It's owned by Goldman Sachs. Its MD, Mr. Sunil Khurana, is a good friend. Hi. So, Mr. Khurana is already here. Let me just call him. Go live with BPL Medical Tech. Desai Maher, good to see you. Mom's Desk again. Good to see you, Saran. Today we're going to talk Make in India. We're going to talk medical equipment. We're going to talk about ventilators and how a company took, their ventilators in England, and they've supplied a lot of them in England too. Hi, sir. You got to turn the selfie mode on. How are you? There you are. It's
Hi.
not a selfie mode. You're just on the side.
Yeah.
How are you? Firstly, big congratulations for becoming a grandfather.
Yes. It's a very prestigious club to be member of.
Yes, and all the best to your son, obviously, right, and his wife, right. And I was just introducing you to the audience, and I said, BPL Medical Technologies has been around for a long time. You've been with them for 7 years now, almost. They're a Goldman Sachs company. They're a Make in India product. We're going to talk ventilators. We're going to talk a whole lot of medical equipment, connected sensors, AI, whatnot. But this is Mr. Sunil Khurana, by the way, and he's an absolute legend in the medical tech industry. Sir, how are you?
Very good, Vishal. Very nice. Thank you.
I've given you an introduction. Why don't you talk about VPL Medical Tech? I want to set the context here. Guys who've joined in, VPL Medical Technologies have supplied ventilators to the UK government, right? And they're going to bring those ventilators into India too. We're going to talk about that. But a brief history of BPL Medical Tech would be important, sir. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about the company?
Sure. I think BPL doesn't need any introduction.
Yes.
And there was one division of BPL which was more into a cardiology side of equipments. ECG, everybody used to know that, ECG and defibrillator, patient monitor is being made. And that is there for last almost 50 years. It was not a very strong, focused department or division. Exactly 7 years back, I would say just in 2 weeks' time from now, I'm going to complete my 7 years in this company.
Yes.
And I was the employee number one under the, after the investment from Goldman Sachs. And that time when we took over, revenue of this company was about 65 crore. And last year we have ended in the range of 350 to 370 crores.
Correct.
That range we have gone. And final number will come because, those audits are still yet to finally get closed. And somewhere in that range. So we have done pretty well in last 7 years' time. And I must say that there is a tremendous potential in India. India has a wonderful, opportunity today. And I will, as I speak, I'll just tell you that why do I feel that India it's really in a very strong position to do. Coming back to one company I want to definitely touch here. There's a company by name Penlon.
Penlon is an Oxford. That's your company. That's your company. Yes.
Yeah. So 75 years back, professors at Oxford universities decided that they should launch a product from the breathing point of view and respiratory side, and they launched many products. And then after a couple of years, they launched an anesthesia machine. So we are the oldest company in the space of anesthesia, which is a critical care area. And that company has done about 75 years, and that is 100% owned by us. It's a completely BPL medical company. And I'm very, very happy to share here that when this pandemic happened, UK government decided that let's talk to medical device companies in UK who can support them to get ventilator. And they approached many companies. We were also one of them. And finally, we could crack this. We took a ventilator which was in anesthesia machine, improvised that because the technology was there. We improvised that, worked a couple of times up and down with MHRA and NHS. And finally, in about 3 weeks of R&D and changes of some specification and what they needed, they finally said, this is what we want and let's go ahead. And they placed an order for 15,000 units. And there was
How
a
many they have?
deadline.
Again, it's 1,000, 15,000 you said, or 1,500?
15,000 was the
15,000
order
units.
placed.
Wow.
That was
Okay.
order placed on us. And with the deadline that 5th July is the last date. And whatever you complete till that time, only that we will take only that much.
Okay.
And we did about 11,800.
Nice.
It was an amazing
And that's
journey.
the one delivered to the UK government. Huh? That's all in 4 months, 3 months.
That 3 months, less than 3 months, I would say. And we delivered those many numbers. All are in the UK government, bought by UK government, and it is with the many hospitals across the UK. Now we have got the CE for this product, and it's a product ready to be delivered anywhere in the world. And in fact, we are getting a lot of orders already. Next 1.5 months, our factory will be, doing what orders we already have, and we'll start executing that. And if
that's testimony to your team and leadership. The way you've delivered close to 12,000 ventilators in UK government. I wish that BPL Medical Technologies, because it's a make in India product, can actually launch in India very soon. And there was this race. I mean, we'll stick to the COVID. I want to talk a lot about your rich history because our audience can learn so much from that. Say March 23rd onwards, how can you make 12,000 ventilators in 3 months? Was that company ready? And was your manufacturing capacity in the UK ready to give so many or meet the demand for so many orders?
No, this is a great question, and that is where I think the maturity of UK government. I want to just talk here. What they realize that technology is one, but company may not be able to deliver that level because it's not an easy job to make so many numbers. Then what they did, they formed a consortium. And in that we had Airbus, we had Ford, we had McLaren, we have STI, so many companies, and they all were making different parts. So all the sub-assemblies were made there. Since our factory is a FDA certified plant, it has a ISO 13485, what is needed. All those parts used to come to our factory, and we had 50 lines of the testing. So our team was doing the testing job, and finally, you give a go ahead, gets packed and moves to the factory. That's how we did. Initially, it was very small. Started with probably a dozen, 2 dozen machines a day. And finally, we ramped up to 400 units a day. So nearly last couple of days, we were building up to 400 units a day. So this is definitely possible because of the consortium, very matured and great consortium. All guys put together were close to 3,000 people who are making these machines.
This is fantastic. I mean, this is great pride for an Indian company to have managed this, right?
Yes.
But, unfortunately, I have to raise that point because we've gone into that subject. Why haven't we launched our own ventilators in India yet? And let's look at the lacunae. Let's look at the possibilities of launching something here locally. There were a lot of contests. Everybody said cheap ventilators. I heard some of the ventilators that were supplied didn't even work from others, right? You've done an amazing job. The UK government bought 12,000 ventilators in a matter of 4 months. An Indian company is able to ramp up so much, but yet our country is not yet brought your products. Guys, by the way, I'm not selling BPL. I'm just saying the scale of which they've matched, right, is phenomenal. You should give us some reality into what's happening in the market and how will that change?
So I just want to say very broad here. In India, we still go by a lot on the specification. We always want at what all it has inside. And end of the specification is a performance. You have to just see the end result. Most places, people go by the end result. And that is how, those decisions are very quick. Here we have just created a specification. And, I don't think that we can comply 100% to that. And the way in India it works, nobody would easily sign that. That, if there is a variation also, there is a gap also, we'll still accept it. So and to be very honest, it was not that, we had the opportunity to give the machines because we were committed. We were first giving in the UK only. Now we are ready. And we have brought 2 units. 2 units are with us now. And one we have kept in Bangalore and second is at Delhi. And now, we are trying to reach to government, whether it is the HLL or, that's a procurement agency or ICMR and all. We are trying now to say, please see our machine. put it on the patients. It's a product which is a C certified. You rightly said some time back on the performance side of it. I believe that it is not the specification which does matter. Of course, it does matter because you just want certain outputs to be there. But reliability is most important. And when it is coming from Penlon, when it is coming from the design of anesthesia ventilator and upgraded version of that, we are very sure about the very solid performance. And that is where we really will do extremely well. We may not have, all ventilation modes, and you don't also need it because, you may not need that for the emergency purpose. What you need is a very rugged, very strong product which can work for weeks together without any interruption. And that is where we'll score very high.
Okay, great. And what are the rules, if you can tell our young startups out there? The ICMR has laid down the specifications, is it? What are those specifications? It's not the cost that's the problem, right?
Cost would certainly be slightly higher because if it is made in UK, there's no compromise in terms of the input quality and material which you use there. So cost would be slightly higher
in the UK.
But in terms of in terms of reliability, that is where Penlon product would deliver. Those are rock solid machines, and that is where it'll do a great job.
Okay, and I hope you launch soon though. So I look forward to an Indian product. Obviously your UK products worked very well. I hope your product, the same product which is designed in India, does very well. By the way, this is a Make in India company, and we're going to be talking Atma Nirbhar too. So do you want to quickly go back to the beginning? This whole self-reliance thing. Let's talk about BPL Medical Technologies itself. It started growing only from 2014-15, right? And let's talk about various verticals that it was in, and how did it compete with the biggies like GE, Philips at the time? It's a very, for those of you in the South would remember BPL. I don't know people in the West or the North would remember BPL at all, but in the South it was an iconic company always, especially in Bangalore, right? Give us that history because most of us can be very young also.
No, you just touched the multinational names. Yes. And I was part of a multinational for 28, 29 years.
Yeah, that's GE, right? Even GE for 28 years.
So I've seen that journey. My always view was, and if you look around whether, we may think China in a very different connotation, but look at this way, that even China today has many companies who are delivering a large supplies within their country. So I used to believe that if one Indian company comes up and starts building up in a nice manner, if it is professionally driven, we can do a lot of stuff. And I'm confident that BPL will be one out of those couple of companies who are working in this direction. There's a tremendous scope, and I have no doubt in my mind that if you do a right portfolio management, it's very, very important that your vision should be very clear what you want to do. It is not that whatever comes, you just take all of that. So we are going very systematically. We did our portfolio assessment very correctly. We filled the right products within the portfolio, added few new modalities, like radiology was not there at all.
Okay.
I felt that, with my background, I've done radiology entire life. So, and all the members who have joined with me, many guys came, very senior members. We all were more biased for the radiology. So we started making a lot of products like, today, full range of X-rays, DR, C-arms, all are made in, it's from a whiteboard concept to a product is what we have realized.
And it's all built in India, completely.
All completely built in India. Of course, you will have still some source, like IITV, if you have to source, everybody's sourcing from outside. If you have to source some tubes, vacuumatic tubes, which are used in X-rays, are sourced from outside. Those are not made in India still. But other than that, whatever we can best do in terms of making a product, everything is designed, software and everything. And on the other piece of radiology, we also have started, selling product from South Korea about 5 years back now, and we have close to now 2,000 installations of ultrasounds. Very good company. Alpinian is a great brand. So radiology.
That's a partner. That's a partnership with the Korean company.
That's our co-branded partnership.
Okay.
And that product comes in our name and their name together, and we have a lot of role to play. In fact, our expert application people keep giving a lot of suggestions. Because India is a very tricky market. If you are successful here, you can be successful anywhere.
Why is it tricky? Why is it tricky? Why do you think it's tricky? Each state has its own rules, medical rules.
One is that even the simple things. Look at the stone. Now we get a stone in our human body, right?
Yeah.
It is not prevalent in many countries. So when you bring those products, and initially, it was not even known to some of those products that there is a formation of stone also in the body. So there are yeah, it's a different territory, and your clinical requirements also a little bit differ. And that is where if we are able to participate well, it is like it's like itself ocean. You can really be very successful. There's a saying that if you are able to drive in Bangalore or in India, you can drive anywhere because it will be very simple. Same way. And those are different challenges, what you said, that it's not a central subject, it's a state subject, and each state has its own rule. Like in ultrasound, PNDT is one complex in a situation, and I'll not really dwell too much on that. But there are many things which are very different in India, and that's why you have to be very expert to understand what is required in our market.
Okay, I want to ask you a management question, because I think a lot of the startups will appreciate those who raise money and they bring in a CEO like you, right? So Goldman Sachs had put in money in BPL and medical technologies at that time, and when they brought you in, you probably had to contend with a lot of people for the job, right? Can you give us insight into what type of presentations did you make about the Make in India movement at that time? Because we hadn't launched anything called Make in India. How did you study the market? What did you present to Goldman and the board that they brought you into this company as MD, and you've been here for 6 years? So I want you to take us through your management journey of decision making, the right steps taken, to convince people, to raise capital and also deploy in market. If you can cover these three, it'll be wonderful, sir.
Sure. What we did, we actually, since I had a very good understanding about the market itself, and before coming here, Goldman had hired a consultant. Bain was their consultant at that time, and Bain gave them a very detailed roadmap that what India market is all about. So strength of BPL, existing BPL was, it was very good on the manufacturing side. There was a factory already. There was a wonderful distribution channel, which was already set in. What was not there, the understanding of the new product, what needs to be brought, and a skillful management team who can run the company to scale it up to a different level. So they hired us, they hired first me with a lot of flexibility that I can build my team of my choice. And we built a very senior member team. And then we started debating, we did gap analysis. And gap analysis is the one word I'm just using here, very tricky, because, what area you want to be, you have to just lay it down on the roadmap or milestones that once I achieve this much, then I will go for this range, then I'll go to this range. And that is how we decided. We never decided that radiology will jump in the first year. We decided what products we have. Let's first fix those products in a wider platform. Now, when I say wider platform, I'll give you a simple example. Look at ECG machine. Now, ECG machine, you can say that I have a single channel and 3 channel, but I may not have 6 channel and 12 channel. So if you don't have that, either you source that or get it made by somebody and source it for you. That is the way you complete a portfolio. So what we did is that every modality, we went and studied very deeply what solutions we have. Everything you cannot make. It is not that, you just decide and immediately it happens. In fact, it takes a lot of time. When you decide and make a product, a general cycle time of making a product is not less than 2 years' time. In about 18 months' time, you are able to make the product. And then it goes for various clinical trials and regulatory approvals. And by the time you complete all of that, I haven't seen that, anything less than 2 years has been launched. So it's a cycle time. And then you continuously keep adding the various modalities. So we kept on adding that based on our experience. Now we are in 5-6 verticals. We do not want to add any more verticals. That's a decision.
Can you tell us your verticals and why you chose them? What were the verticals before you joined, and what did you add?
So primarily, we were at that point in time only in the non-invasive cardiology. And everybody knew BPL as an ECG company. And any doctor who's now 45 years plus or 50 years plus, they all would have definitely used in their lifetime BPL machine. Even today, the number of boxes we sell is probably next 3 players put together don't sell that much. I mean, that's the strength.
So you're a leader in ECG at this point.
We are leader in that. Similarly, Holter or defibrillator. So those range we were very well known. We had some elementary entry in the patient monitors. And then we decided that patient monitor is a very interesting area, because if one hospital buys a 5 ECG machine, they will probably buy 50 patient monitor, because that's the way, that's the relationship you will have. That number of beds or ICUs you would have for the ward or ICU level, a different type of patient monitor. So we decided that we want to go deep into that. So that's a critical care. So from non-invasive, we started our journey to critical care. In critical care, you will have the anesthesia machine, and that is where we acquired Penlon. Penlon was a major in the technology, and anesthesia machine is with them, so we entered in that. Then we also further entered into the ventilator range, and that time Penlon was not doing it the way they have done in the last couple of months. We decided that we want to have a very reliable product, because ventilator should not be a ventilator. You cannot have a product which is not reliable. So we then decided that we will go to a German. German is a market which is very reliable when it comes to electromechanical product. And Lowenstein is €500 million company. We partnered with them to bring their ventilator in India. Very solid, very strong product. And that journey we started only a year back. It's not a very old journey. So, that's how, so non-invasive cardiology. Then we went into the third was radiology. Radiology, I already told you.
So non-invasive, critical care, and then cardiology.
Radiology.
3 lines.
In radiology, you have ultrasounds, and then CM we have built for the surgery purpose, and partnered with Alpinian, which is a South Korean company, and built our portfolio for the ultrasound. Amazing products. Probably that's the only company, to my understanding, who also make HIFU. HIFU is a high intensity, ultrasound units, which are used to kill the fibroid area and all that. So it's a wonderful clinical tool also. Nobody else makes it. So very high-end products they make. And after that, we went into MIC. MIC is maternal infant care. We realized that India, where you are having a new baby born every year in the range of 2.25 to 2.5 crores, it's not a small number. And every female goes for multiple times in the, in the trimesters onwards for the ultrasound scanning. And then such a big population, it's not only obs-gynae practitioner, radiology also you need ultrasound. So ultrasound was one area where, we went, and followed with that, we went to the MIC, because we realized that overall mortality rate in India is very high.
What's a MIC? Maternity infant care.
Maternal infant care, where you make warmers, you make phototherapy, you have incubators, those products. We partnered there again with the best in the class. There's a company by name Atom. Atom is a Japanese company. And I just want to give you one statistics, interesting statistics.
Yes,
India today has about 25 to 28 babies die in thousand numbers.
Correct.
Thousand numbers. And NHRM was very, very worried, and they are really doing a lot of
the infant mortality is very high here.
Very high. Similar was the case about 30, 35 years in Japan. And this company partnered with Japan. And today Japan has reached to 1 to 2 patients only. 1 to 2 deaths in 1,000. So imagine the journey they had. And these products are supposed to be the best in the world. So we partnered with them. We started selling that. Those are quite expensive. Then we built our own range of product, because everywhere, everyone is not going to buy those. But you might probably like to take some mix of both. And that is the way we started selling. So MIC was another area. Then we realized that consumable and home care is another area where you don't need any service support. And that's expanding a lot. And you need one good company where you can do a lot. So today we are one who's offering that complete solution. And the last piece is the accessories. We make accessories for all the products we make. And those are all universal accessories. Now, if you're talking of those lead wires or connecting wires and all of that, those are all common for any probes, any monitors or ECG machine. We manufacture that also, including even ECG roll, paper rolls and all we manufacture. That's how we have created these vertical. The last on the revenue side is also a service where we take our product.
The annual service.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have three partnerships. Okay. 3 partnerships. One acquired company, which is Penlon in the USA, in UK. Sorry, pardon me. So you've got a partnership with a Japanese company, a Korean company,
and
a German company. And then you sell those products, but make in India would also be products like ECG machines, which are where you're
ECG,
leading.
monitor. We have a lot of range of monitor. Yeah, we have defibrillators. Very big range of defibrillators, complete range, biphasic and monophasic. And then you have X-ray range. We have a complete X-ray, DR, C-arms. So many products we are making in India.
So what percentage of your portfolio would you say is made in India of the 100%?
On a consolidated basis, we would be about close to 62% at this point in time in revenue. My sense is that in about 3 years from now, we should go to 80%. It is not going to become complete 100%. It's not going to be for anybody.
Because we have to source some commodities from abroad, obviously.
Correct. So
right?
I guess that, if we achieve 80% in 3 to 4 years time, it'll be great. And actually, there is a lot of lesson everybody has learned with this COVID. Everybody has realized that dependency on outside is not something very good. And most companies have started a journey toward setting up the manufacturing base now. We anyway had it. Our factory is very old and we have about 150 people there. We have second factory ready. If further we get some partnerships. See, it is not a reinventing the wheel. You should not just start every time designing a product. But if you can get a partnership where you get a technology from somewhere, and the technology partnership, or even under FDA, somebody wants to come and join hand with you, you can still make those products. And that's the better route. That's the faster route.
Okay, you have 3 factories, sir. So one in Bangalore, right? Or 2 in Bangalore?
We have 2 factories. We have both
2
factories in Kerala. We have
in Kerala, okay.
Both are in Kerala, both are in Palakkad.
The corporate office is in Bangalore, but the factories are in Kerala.
Our headquarter as well as R&D team. We have about 45 member R&D team, which is in Bangalore. So all the products which are designed here, are done in Bangalore. Our senior member team sits here. Our controllership, our regulatory, our back office, finance, all are here. And then we work very closely with the factory. So you design a product, design transfer is done to the production engineering, and then it goes to the production. So it's a process, and continuously we keep doing. This month we are transferring our oxygen generator, oxygen concentrator, a very high-end product we have made, which can be scaled up from 5 liter to 10 liter, and a very, very modular design, and that is going. 2 months back, we have launched a new series of patient monitor, which is again a very unique design we have done. So it's a continuous game. You cannot just say that
it is a great game also for an Indian company like yours, because the reason I want to bring this in is, can you work with startups? Can startups work with you rather? Medical technology is a very difficult game in India. I only see the likes of the USA, UK, Germany spending enormous amounts of money on medical tech research. I think the opportunity for you is enormous here because of the young population, the innovation that's going on in all our major Indian cities. And you can also make great products that are affordable. We didn't even get into the pricing of the product yet, which we will. The different segments of India which we have to talk about. So what are your thoughts on startups in this industry, and how can they work with you?
We have actually many working with us. We have a couple of IITs, like IIT Kanpur is very closely working with us. And many startups go there. They have incubation center, and from there, we work, and whatever is absolutely good which we can take, we have been working. Now this focus is going to become big. My suggestion to startup is that only don't look at the app-based product.
You want to tell us what that is? Don't just look at the user interface and data, you're saying.
Correct. What I feel is we should also look at the actual hardcore devices. And I'm not saying that India is going to be only doing the innovation. There is a lot of things which is being done. If we can just improvise that, make it more meaningful for India, tailor it more for India, and design the same products for Indian needs is what they should look at it. Also, because what most of the guys come, they bring a lot of app, and they say that with these apps it can be done. I mean, app is fantastic, but you don't create those large industries based on the app. That's what I want to say. And hardware-driven products are very important.
So you're saying hardware is very important. Okay, there are questions already flowing in. We'll get into them. But there's a very important question, sir. Why don't you also go to non-IIT colleges? Is it because of the labs you've gone? Okay.
Yeah, we have gone. All across we have gone. Only I'm saying that, very recently we have tied up with the IIT Kanpur. And, it is not that we are not gone. We have gone to our even Bangalore. So, we are going many places, and we have worked with some of those, startups. It is not that we are desperate.
Okay. So if I'm a medical tech startup, and I have to work with BPL Medical Tech or any corporate, say in any of those 6 verticals that you mentioned, what would you like from them? I mean, you're clear. You said, look, I'm not interested in any apps or, but you're surely interested in data. How do you use data through the machine, right? Or what would you like? What should they do if they approach you?
Yeah. So imagine if somebody is trying to make a very unique patient monitor. I'm just giving a very simple example. A patient monitor can be a very low end, mid end, high end, and premium end. And then connectivity of those products are very key. So in India, because IT is a very, very prevalent and very strong here, if these people come out with a solution that these products can also be connected very well with the end customers, and from there it can also be teleconnected to the clinics. If those solutions they bring, we can always work together. Similarly in ECG machines, similarly in X-rays. So a lot of we have a lot of scope. Look at this way: if somebody is interested and has a capability to build high tension, high voltage generators and X-rays, I mean, there's a lot of requirement. High frequency range of generators we are making, but that would still be a huge scope for anybody to look at. So there are scopes, and one can reach to us directly. I can connect with our head of R&D, and we can always give an idea that what are the areas we may look at it. See what happens. It is not that whatever is being done can easily be adopted. Very difficult. You have to really see what fits in your own system, and then we can work together. What we would like to have, those people who develop should become part of the company. That's the best thing.
Interesting.
They come and they become the part of the R&D, and then they take those products to the end, and then we commercialize for what they have done. They are very suitably compensated, as well as they become the part of the company. So it's a both way.
Okay. In India, do you think we need to set up ecosystems for medical hardware startups? We've tried some in the past, right? Do you want to talk about what is really needed? Is it university corporate partnerships? We've been talking about it for 20 years. I'm sure you went to NIT Warangal many years ago, and I'm sure back then also somebody must have talked about industry and university partnerships. Where are we in that situation? Now, how do you think we can truly benefit? Like you said, I want to pick up startups. I want to pick up startups to come be part of my R&D. I will give them the budget to make something. And if they succeed, I will give them the market where they can take that product line as part of the BPL umbrella and then, just sell it, right? That's a great thing for a person like you to say. The startups need that support. How will that system come about?
So I'll tell you where probably India has not done well. If you see overall, Government of India R&D budget is the lowest probably in the globe. It's a very small R&D budget. If you look at even China is about 6 to 7 times more R&D budget. So that's one area where...
As a percentage of GDP, you mean?
Yeah, as a percentage of GDP, it's a very small in our case, and outside it's very different. That's one piece. Second is that, you have to... Now it has changed a lot. Last 7-8 years, I must say, this government is doing a wonderful job. Academias, it's very, very important that institutes like us, the companies like us who are in India, should partner more and more with academia, because academia when working, they're not working on an ROI. And there's a talent pool. Professors are very, very knowledgeable. There they get students who work on the project. And when they take a project and bring it to an end, and they work with us, I mean, we also go to many institutes like MITs and MIT means Manipal Institute of Technology. We go to them and take biomed students from there. They work here for 6-8 months time. Some of them get a job. Some wants to build a career in the sales or service or R&D. We take them. But what I view is that more and more focus, which I told you about Penlon, that Penlon was launched by professors and some at Oxford University. That concept is a little bit missing here. It should go a little bit more.
Okay.
So that's
is it a function of money, or is it a function of deep research? Is it a function of skill? I'm sure our skill can be matched across the world.
It's a focus. I think it's a focus. It's a focus that we need to do this. And healthcare was not a very great focused area also, because we were doing everything on a very low scale. Now that scale is changing. I'll give you another simple example. Look at global market of med device is $600 billion. $600 billion is a global med device. It's a phenomenal. Now, India is about $8 to $9 billion, which is about 1.5% of the global market. Now, look at this way, that we have more than 15% of population.
Yes.
So if 15% population and you have only 1.5% of the medical device, you have straight away, if all the parities are being addressed, you have a scope to go 10 times.
Yes.
Straight 10 times.
Correct.
That is an opportunity. I'm not saying that you straight will go there, but undoubtedly, that's the way we should look at it.
Very
the
interesting.
way now Government of India is trying to do now, I see many states coming with the medical park. AP Medical Technology, my friend Dr. Jitendra Sharma has launched a very big medical technology park there. Probably that's one of the best in India. Similarly, there is in Chennai, there is a park by Tamil Nadu. There's a park now in Ahmedabad. There's a park which I just saw 2-3 weeks back. There is an announcement by Haryana government. They're launching it. Andhra Pradesh has launched it. I think each state need to launch these medical parks. And
these medical parks are an ecosystem of manufacturers, of hospitals, or research, startups.
Yeah. So you will have laboratories there, because today you make a product and getting those products tested and then get the CE certification or certificate to take it to even abroad. Because in India, whatever we do, we should not look at India only as India market, because your mindset in India to sell products will be very different, and while designing also will be different. You should always keep global market in mind. Then your quality conscious will be very different. You would like to have a different level of products to be made when you're looking at Eastern Europe and developed market also as your market. And for that you need a lot of testings. So if government sets up those parks, they set up the very right price points, laboratories, then you have a lot of ecosystem. Now, if you're making, let's say, an X-ray machine, you may not like to make the table and column and all the mobile stand and everything inside. That's a mechanical. If let's take you have someone who can make that kind of job for you there, or if you are having some PC manufacturing, printed board circuit manufacturing plants there. So there can be many areas where it can work very well. We can all be, simple example today, look at how auto system is done. In India, auto came 20 years back.
Auto came 94, 95, after they opened up the Ford plant and all, Mahindra Ford plant and all that, yes.
Today, look at the ancillaries around it. Once you have brought it, many ancillaries have come. Same thing is going to happen. And with the focus of Make in India, I'm sure this is going to it's going to be accelerated. It will still take time. In my view, it will take at least 5 to 10 years when you can say that this industry has become great. It's truly a sunshine industry, I have no doubt. Like IT, this is going to be a big industry. And, it's only a question of government focus. One more area government need to do is that bring a lot of strong regulatory in place. Anybody
to protect Indian manufacturing.
To protect and also to get the right product in India. Anybody can get to some countries and get some very cheap, very ordinary, low quality products and sell here, which is a wrong thing. That would never promote you. Similarly, there should be some more promotional activities. Like look at China. China has become the manufacturer for the globe. How it has happened? They have given lots and lots of incentives even for the promotion of the export. So today, if I make a quality product and if I'm exporting, we should get some export promotions. So once you start getting some of that, it is just a copying how these developed countries, especially South Korea has done, Japan has done, how US has done. We can copy some of those best practices, imbibe that here, bring that in the system, create the DNA. And it can become, I am still quite open to say here that I'm not looking at India to be an innovation place for the innovations. Even if
don't you think will be a place for innovations? Why is that?
It will still take time, because innovations will generally happen from the institutes. It will happen from the academia side, and it will take some time in my view. But a lot of products which are already in existence, if you are able to improvise those products and make those products itself, is great for the country. Because today,
I have a because you also were with GE for 28 years. I want to ask you, is it because we are still stuck with that socialistic point of view that we make cheap products that is affordable, that it has to be democratized to everybody, and obviously India is also a poor country. Let us understand that, because we have about say about 250 million poor people in this country, and many people in the borderline side also. This COVID, I don't know, the poverty line must have increased much more now, right? So I know that pricing is an issue. I know that we have that socialist past that we are stuck onto. But yet in the cities we are highly capitalistic. There's a parity everywhere. How do you think we should fix this? Do you think we can fix it at all? Do you see companies like yours? Success of companies like yours would probably decide how the pricing strategy could be brilliant with your portfolio of products. But we don't have many examples, right?
So I'll give you a little different here. I think paying capacity is something. First, we have to understand the paying capacity. Paying capacity 20 years back in India was not as high as it is today. 20 years back, you look at our parents only single family member used to earn. The
Yes.
concept of earning was not there. Today, if you see, more members in each families are earning. Now, at that time, we were very reactive to healthcare. Today, we are quite proactive. I mean, today, you go on Saturdays, Sundays, you will find most of these laboratories and hospitals doing the, people go for their own
Yeah.
tests. That concept was not earlier there. So slowly, India is changing. That's a one understanding we need to have. So
Okay.
paying capacity improvement itself is attracting. When I started my career in 80 to 83, it was only X-ray. I'm talking of it now. Let's take diagnostic imaging side. CT came almost at that time. Worldwide, CT was not there. MRI came much later. MRI came in 88. The first MRI in the world came in 87, 88. So similarly, PET-CT came just a decade and a half back. So I've seen most of these modalities getting launched and now market is very big. When first machine was installed by, in private probably by Dr. Mahajan in Delhi, and that was probably in 1991, if I'm not wrong. And prior to that, there was a one or two in the government institutes. Until 95, there were not more than 10 MRIs. So one or two
in
MRIs
the country,
were coming.
only 10
In the country.
MRIs in the country.
Yeah, up to 95. Today, every year, India is adding about 350 to 400 MRIs. Look at the scale. Those days, some 5 or 10 CT scanners in a year. Today, you sell 1,000 CT scanners. Ultrasounds are being now sold 10 to 12,000. So now the scale when has changed will motivate many to jump into. I still feel and very strongly believe that large companies like Reliance, Tata, Mahindra, such large companies, HCL, that level of companies must also jump into this way.
In the medical field.
In the medical field. Once they jump into it, they can probably do a lot of consolidation job. But you know what they can probably do? They can make these companies as a 5,000-6,000 crore revenue company. Otherwise, you have a 50 crores, 100 crore, 80 crore, 10 crore men, and you need a scale. And that scale will only happen with such large companies who anyway have a lot of skills of the manufacturing. They also have an IT understanding. They have electronic.
Go on. I think we froze there for a while, guys.
Yeah.
So I lost you for a couple of seconds. I lost you for a couple of seconds there, sir.
Yeah, there was a call.
You were saying. Yeah. No problem.
So
Go on. You were saying something.
What I'm saying is that large companies must jump into this. And that is how India can progress very quickly. And what I've seen in China now, there are companies who are multi-billion-dollar company in the space of, medical devices.
Yeah, I mean, fair point. Fair point. I want to ask you this: if I gave you a simplified version, because because my family has a few doctors, so I want to ask you, to have these machines, right? Let's look at the public health centers. There are public health centers. See, I didn't know that telemedicine was a gray area till March 23rd. Now it's not a gray area anymore. It's apparently very important, right? The government sent those, letters, and they've made it pretty much legal now, right? They changed the rules apparently. So there's public health centers, there's village hospitals, or say town level hospitals, then mostly owned by government or some private. Then you have tier 5, tier 4 cities, with niche hospitals, eye care. There'll be gastroenterology and those type of hospitals. Right. Yeah. And then you come into the cities where you have multi-speciality, super specialty hospitals and all that. If you look at this ecosystem and the building of medical tech in our country and access to, medical equipment, how do you see it being playing out?
Our challenge in India is on the skilled manpower. The biggest issue which I see today, why medical devices are not growing to the level it should grow, is the skilled manpower. Both sides, for the manufacturing as well as on the user side. So suppose we are talking of a ventilator. Now we are saying that a lot of ventilators are being have been bought in India, but how many can use those? How many?
Not many. There are reports out that they haven't worked also.
Yeah. So that is where the challenge is. So it is not only manufacturing of these devices. Who are going to handle those devices? Now I'm very happy to see that there are many institutes, like, I was there, I gave a couple of lectures in Symbiosis Health Institute in Pune. They are training a lot of
Correct.
radiologists, radiographers. They're training nurses. They are training in the uh, respiratory side. They're training people. So those kind of institutes are doing a great job. But probably we have to multiply that into a big area. And this is what is the gap in my mind. Once we map those gaps, then these unmet needs can be very easily fulfilled.
So there are unmet needs in every level. You're saying in the city level, town level, village
Yes,
level. Hmm?
most areas. Yeah, most
Most areas,
areas.
and
You
and
don't
it's
even have.
not
You
just
don't even.
pricing. It's there are lots of gaps.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you put a machine, nuclear medicine machine, you have to
Hmm.
have a nuclear medicine expert. Now, government is
Hmm.
relaxed it that they can probably practice at more centers, more than one. But no, in reality, unless you have more and more skilled people, qualified people to manage those products, you cannot expand it. For
Hmm.
expansion, both sides, for the doctors, paramedical, and people who will use the machines, all
Okay.
areas needs to be done. At the same time, now we have a biomed engineers coming, biotech
Hmm.
engineers coming. But this is again a new phenomenon of a decade and a half. And they also come, and in the end of the year, I see that Infosys of the world will go and hire all of them as a bench, and they go and learn software, and they start becoming the programmer. But once the ecosystem of medical devices becomes bigger, they all would
Correct.
like to come and work in the companies like us, and that is how I can
Yeah, I
take
always
probably 30,
wondered how
40.
companies such as yourself competed for the race to talent. Very difficult,
Yeah. So it's a very
right?
tricky journey. And as we
Hmm.
move forward, plus Indian companies have to do a much hard work than the multinationals. Multinationals get product from their principals, whatever is being made. Here we set up the kitchen. We have to think that what we need to deliver, and then you complete and then give the dish also. So it's a very tricky but a great learning. I think India 10 years down the line will be a very, very large medical equipment supplier like
To the
China,
world.
because we know there's no doubt about it that today relationship with the China is becoming tough with most of the nations. And India will emerge as a very good destination. It's only a question of right planning by government, right planning
Hmm.
by these big industrialists, those names I've taken.
Hmm.
And India can become very big. I mean, today I just have no hesitation taking name. There's a company by name Mindray. Mindray
Hmm.
is now more than $2 billion company just in the space of
Mind ray.
25, 20 years. Mindray in China. Why can't
Hmm.
we have down the line 10 years equivalent of Mindray 3 or 4 in India? It can happen
That's
because
true.
you have a similar population. Your
Hmm.
economy is also now coming pretty well. So imagine if we are 15 years behind China. In down the line 15 years, we should imagine that so many companies should be in India. Today, there is not a single company who's manufacturing ultrasound. What a shame. 10 to 12,000 machines are being consumed, and not a single company who's manufacturing here. Everybody is just bringing, or one or two maybe doing some semi-knockdown condition. No. And China, you may have probably 50 companies who are manufacturing the ultrasound machine. So we have
Uh,
to, our policies also were to be blamed. I mean, I can say that we had some challenges on the, certain tax structures or
yeah.
inverted tax structures and all. Most of that is getting corrected. But if you want to motivate the Indian manufacturing, you have to make a couple of those policies pro manufacturing. Very, very
Would
important.
you recommend younger people, say, who've done their biomed, or they've done some medical, mechanical and medical combination, if they've done something like that, would you advise them to get into the world of hardware in India, or would you say no at this point of time?
What they should do is that they must essentially choose. There are not only BPL, there are many companies now. Probably at the scale of 200 crore plus, there might be 10, 15 companies now. They
Hmm.
should essentially take about 3 months to 6 months of training in these
Hmm.
companies in their one of the semesters. Once they've
Hmm.
completed their 2 years, they should
Hmm.
take that. And that curriculum, once they come and understand how companies work, will excite them. And that young crowd comes and becomes a partner to companies like us, will be very helpful for both. So
I
they
look forward,
should really.
and that's an amazing point, because I was talking to Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad a couple of days ago. He was giving an address on data privacy, and he said that we need a health stack in this country. I don't know what he means by health stack. Is a health, but you mentioned parks, right? Innovation parks for medical, right? Do you see a health stack coming up, like a financial stack, like the UPI?
No, I don't really have a very clear understanding what he
Yeah.
meant with this. But
He
what
meant it from a data
probably,
perspective.
yeah, no. So I'll tell you what he probably meant, and let me just expand it.
Hmm.
Today, you go to one hospital. I'm
Hmm.
taking any ABC or
Okay.
any corporate
Fine.
hospital, and you get your lot of studies done. You've got your CTs and MRs and cath labs and a lot of things. Now
Yes.
there are PACS system. So PACS means that you will have your data recorded and
And archive.
stored in their system. You go to another hospital. Suppose you've done this in Chennai, and now you come to Bangalore and you're not well, and you go to some other hospital. That hospital should be able to pull the data of your earlier studies done in
Yeah.
some other place.
That's nice. That'd be
Unless
wonderful.
that, unless that kind of concept happens, when you have one, like you have today Aadhaar number, with your Aadhaar, one number is linked and your data can be pulled, then you need not at the time of emergency do all those studies again. Probably he meant with that, because
Yes, that's what he
unless you
meant.
go to
He
that,
said more use of
unless you
data and
go
all
to
that.
that level, now there you can mask the name. You can have only the identification number, whatever you give, ABC, XYZ, whatever number you give. With that, if your data is being pulled, then your treatment becomes very simple. Today, every time, every hospital you go within Bangalore, you go to 8 hospitals, they all will do
Yeah.
the same test again, and they will tell you that this is the challenge. I think IT, the way India has done so well in IT, probably
Yes.
we should really start linking the data. It's all about accessing the data. And I'm not trying to say data can be misled and it can be misutilized. But if we have a proper codings done, your privacy is very properly maintained there. And with those specific numbers, if your data is being pulled, you can be treated anywhere at a much lower cost. Because then
Right.
your all the test and cost is one. At the time of emergency, you will immediately be seen that what challenges you had just in one sheet. So I think this is where India can do a great job, because we have done so well in last 25 years in the IT space,
Yes.
not in this space.
Very
And
correct.
I remember one quoting of our famous uh, Apple man. Steve said,
Steve Jobs. Yeah.
Steve Jobs said, his view was that when biology and technology, there should be some intersection of biology and technology. If that happens from there, healthcare can be done very well. Today, in India, we should really think on those lines. IT is a domain in India. We have done so well. And if we really, and we have a wonderful clinicians. If you look at today,
Correct.
UK or US, about 20% of the premium clinicians are from Indian origin. So we have such a great talent pool when it comes to the physicians and clinicians. There is no match of them,
Correct.
because the number of patients they see, the exposure they get in a short span of time, outside what people will get in 20 years, our guys get in 5 years time. So if you have that skill set, you are able to get the academia working from the technology side, and IT professionals working together. If we do all of that, India can rewrite the healthcare in a very different way. I think Government of India is bringing a lot of focus, and I believe that this is going to become a sunshine industry without any doubt.
Yeah, I'd agree. And by the way, guys, if you joined us, BPL, which is a 350 crore company or whereabouts, is now heading past 1,000 crores this year, because it's been able to supply ventilators to the UK government, right? And congratulations to you, sir, on that. Let's go on to the audience questions, right? I mean, because most of them are patriots and they ask some wonderful questions. This is from Rushikesh, who says, how do you build medical technology? How do you build a medical technology company? What educational background should a person in the startup industry need? Do they need a pure science degree? Do they need an MBBS degree and an engineering degree?
So I think generally, you need definitely engineering. I mean, that's a starting point, I must say. And when you start your project, you keep connecting with the doctors. You keep connecting to the medical professionals to get what is required. So the problem statement, what you are working, will be worked with the help of medical professionals. You keep getting that input, but then alone you can't do. If you are just a software person, you probably would need electronics guy working with you. If you are a mechanical, then probably you need electronics or embedded guys with you. So what project you take, it depends on it, but mostly it will be a teamwork. It is not a one person's journey which will take it something very big. And if you want to really make it big, You have to have medical doctors connected for the inputting side, that what they need. And each time when you make a product, you have to go to them, get it calibrated, get it vetted by them, take inputs and improvise it. That's how it works. But a team of engineers with the different areas, electronics, software, embedded, and all that would be needed.
I think they should allow that. The government, when it does, as and when it does the health stack, it should also call for collaboration with doctors, medical companies such as yourselves, tech companies, hardware, and the software guys. That will be a wonderful problem. Then there'll be probably faster innovation. That's a good question, Rushikesh, by the way, and that's a great answer, sir. Let's go on to the next one. It's from Prachi. She says, you've studied the healthcare industry in the UK and India. In terms of sourcing medical equipment, from local companies, how do you compare the two?
Yeah, so at the component level, when you have to source, UK is definitely much easy, because you get all kind of components very comfortably here. In India, that sourcing is a little complex, and we have to go for a lot of international sourcing. And I just saw 2-3 days back, there was an announcement that equivalent to Honeywell, there's a company, I'm just missing the name, they have now partnered at the AP Medical Technology Park, and they are going to make a lot of electronics components in AP Medical Technology Park, which are more for the medical devices. So I think that's going to help a lot. And I see a lot of that happening. But looking at India, we still sourcing is not that easy. It is
from the manufacturing side.
You're still on the manufacturing side, because component sourcing also is not that easy. Even at tool making, when you make a product, you have that outer shell. That outer shell is made with a hard tool. Even those hard tools are also made outside. Mostly you go to Taiwan and those countries, and we still don't have that precision tool making systems in India. So slowly this is getting built, and it's a question of egg and chicken story, same, that now there is a need. Now manufacturing is going to kickstart, and a lot of ancillaries and these people will jump into this.
Okay, and you also have to realize UK is only 70 million. India is 1.3 billion, right? And that's a scale that we need to match up to. Okay, there's a question around Russia. Go on.
That way I appreciate South Korea. South Korea is so small in the size, but look at the way they have been building the product. I mean, I really have very high respect for South Korea and Japan. Very small population, but they have been doing a wonderful job. Yeah, innovative mindset. Yeah.
Okay. If you look at America, do they also make locally medical equipment locally, or do they source it from China?
I think each company is sourcing from different companies. I mean, even a lot of American companies have also set up a shop in the low-cost countries. And when all this concept was going on 20 years back, China was a low-cost country. Now, it is no more a low-cost country. Probably in the relationship to that, today, India is a more low-cost country, because labor cost of China is about 4 times more than India now. And if we get all other areas, which is sincerity, I must say that, if you read a couple of interviews, people say that we have gone to China not because of the low cost only, but because of their very honesty, or fearful also. If they are fearful to do a job, they'll complete their job, and probably, that output from each individual is very different. We need to learn that. Our sincerity toward the job, the culture, and national pride, that what we do is for the national pride. I mean, these Korean or Chinese or Japanese, they do a lot of that. So I think that is something which we have to inculcate in our DNA, and it will change a lot.
That's a good question. So from the UK, you said you could learn setting up a component ecosystem to support the local manufacturers. That's the first thing that we have to do. And then the transparency and the effort towards a discipline where, you make great products, and that should come about. And that's why you say that's going to take time. And rightly.
It will take time, because UK, we have a company, if those guys do a 42 hours of working, I know that 42 hours means 42 hours a week. And here you may have
coffee.
I mean, it is absolute sincerity. They are not generally engaged in the gossiping and all that, which is a huge difference. And here you may probably do a 50 hours of working, but net result could be only equivalent of 30-35 hours. So it's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn.
Okay, great point coming from a man of your experience. And this is from Rashmi. Where are your plants located, sir? Where are they based in Kerala?
So Kerala, there's a place by name Palghat. This is about 55-60 kilometers from Coimbatore. So nearest airport is Coimbatore. So we go to Coimbatore and then about an hour drive from there to that's entry, the first entry. And Palkat is about, I think, 3-4 lakhs population. And we have a factory there. We have two plants. One plant which is about 2.5 acre land where we currently are manufacturing our products. And we have one more plant which is a large, but that we are waiting for the next scale. If we either partner or we go for some large activity, then we'll jump there. There we have about 1 lakh of square feet already ready, constructed sheds, and we can jump. In fact, we are even open to look at outside. If we, some other technology park attract, we may even look at some products to go to.
Nice. Nice. The next question is affordable ventilators for India is the need of the hour. This is from Parvastu. What type of ventilators are in the market now? And why aren't they working in many ways?
Okay, so let me first explain what is ventilator. I don't know how many people very clearly understand the ventilator. Ventilator is a way, it's an artificial way to help you breathe. When patient is not able to himself breathe, you have some problem, then we put a system which will put you onto artificial breathing system. This is what the ventilator is. Now, ventilator can be a very complex, it can be a very simple and it can be a complex. Now, if you design a ventilator for neonatal, it is a very dedicated only for neonatal. If you design a ventilator for a very complex procedures, then you need a very different ventilator. What you need in the COVID is not a very complex ventilator. You need couple of ventilation modes where you are able to give 95 to 100% oxygen. And important is that you should have a product which is very reliable. As I told you that.
So we're losing you a lot there. We're losing you a couple of points. We lost you there. Can you tell us again what type of what is a ventilator quickly and what do you need? Because we lost you for a few seconds there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ventilator is that if patient is not able to breathe himself or herself, there's a problem, gone to a very chronic disease. At that time, you attach a device to a patient to help assist breathe artificially. Those are mechanical ventilators. So that's a ventilation. Now, ventilator is like a car. Imagine you have a car which is a 800, 600 cc car and you go up to very high-end car. Same way in ventilator, type of patient, you need a different type of ventilator. Now, if you take a very premium ventilator, that will be good for everything. But that may not be needed today for the COVID patients. COVID patients, you need a product which can do a reasonably good job, but most important, it should be very reliable. As I was telling you just a few minutes back, that with our experience, product take generally 2 years time to build and test and bring to a level where you say that it is very reliable. And it is very, very important. These products which are in the market should be perfectly tested. And ventilator is a product which is the most critical product, because if ventilator stops working, you understand what happens to patient. So reliability of these machines are very crucial in my mind. And that is where, as Pennon product I was talking, may not have all the features, may not have all the ventilation modes, but it is an amazingly reliable product. And that is what does matter in the ventilation side.
Okay. Why are there very few CT scans, PET scans, radiotherapy machines in our country? This is from Rishikesh. Is it because we lack R&D in all this?
I think it was a scale, Rishikesh, because now only we have started seeing hundreds of MRIs being consumed in India. You have to have a market where when you are making these products, a lot of that should sustain your plant. Now, if you look at the US consumes about 1,000 plus MRIs a year, and that's happening for a very long time. And hence, you could manage, manufacturing of those machines or in European countries. Now, the moment we are raising the scale, today you've gone to 1,000 plus CT scanner, and one company in India is now making CT scanner of one model, not all model, but one model. So it is all a scale. Once you have local requirement being fulfilled by the factory, and factory can be viable with the local consumption, then would you kickstart. And that is where the basic machines which we are talking of, monitors and x-rays and all of that, in my mind, there should not be a single machine coming from outside. Why should it be? Because all these machines, you have such a big market now in India that India alone can sustain with those machines. And as we
Great
see
point.
that 1,000 MRIs being manufactured in India, you will see someone setting up the magnet facility, and that magnet will be then pulled, and a lot of people will build their own electronics and start selling the MRIs. So I think, it's a scale which now India is attaining. And as I told you, that 1995, there were probably 5 or 7 or 8, 10 MRIs, and every year only 1 or 2 used to get added. And today you're adding 300, 400 units a year. So it's all a scale which is now motivating many people to come. Since the policies were such, since the nominal 5% custom duty was not a big deal, that at 5% anybody, no big multinational would like to manufacture here if they can just set up, bring that material at 5% or 8% and sell it here. So there has to be a barrier. Suppose that duty is 50%. They will set up their plant here. And from India, then India, you will start getting a lot of supplies. So, government has to work very carefully.
Interesting point. I mean, there's so many things that, sometimes you don't wonder when it comes to manufacturing. So self-reliance is not just a narrative, but there's a whole host of things that you have to do before you become one. So there's this question around,
ultimately, you have to be viable, because when you set it up, it is not for your ego satisfaction. When you set up a factory or plant, it has to be viable. It should make all the expenses, and if not making a lot of profit, and nominal profit which you can use toward the R&D. And for that, you have to have the local market existence, which is what is happening now.
Okay, and there's a question pertaining to that. How do you compete with when GE, Philips, and Siemens are so well entrenched in the hospital ecosystem? Do you see an Indian company becoming of that size from the medical devices side?
I have no doubt in that. I'll tell you why. Today, last year we were about 350 crore. This year we will cross 1,500 crore. Now this is a one surge. This 1,500 crore, as you just touched also, that probably 1,100 crore or 1,150 will be done only by Penlong because of the ventilator. Now, most of these companies you named are about 3,000 crore, out of which about 700-800 crore is only a service revenue. So equipment revenue could be about 2,000 crore. And when I look at these companies, they work within the boundary wall or within the political boundary of India, and they will only be doing in India, and their they will have another setup which is doing in South Asia or Southeast Asia and different. For companies like us, it will be a global market. And I feel that down the line, 7 to 8 years from now, what revenue I do in India, I will do a similar revenue from outside India. Okay. So for us to grow the business, I should not only look at India. I should look at how an Indian company can do beyond India also. So suppose I become an 800 crore company in 6 years from now, which is definitely not a big deal in India. I should be able to do 500, 800 crore from outside also. And for that, you need to have a right products, regulatory approved products, and approval in those countries. So in my view, as I gave an example of Mindray in China, it has become today $2 billion plus company. And I don't think any of the companies' name you have taken is of that size in China. Individually, none of those companies are that size. Why not in India? For sure. And if these large companies, I said that, HCL or Mahindra or Reliance or Tata's and all that, if they jump into it and they probably consolidate the whole game, it can become very quickly very large and probably biggest of all. I have no doubt.
Okay, great. There's several questions. I want you to take them fast. You were telling me a month ago that AI is very important. Can you tell us why AI is important? I mean, this is a question from Prachi. For the medical tech industry, can they use AI?
I think AI is being used in the hospital industry more. In radiology, it is becoming very popular now for the reporting purpose. And what they do is that it's all protocol driven. It's all, data driven basically. And if you have done 1 million chest x-rays and you have done a reporting done by the radiologists, you've created a specific benchmarking around that. Now, if you just put your chest x-ray on with the AI to answer that what report they want to give, the learning of all will be in there, and you probably will be 99% more accurate. Probably will be more accurate than somebody else who comes and does the reporting, because his eyes in the afternoon may be more tired than the morning, whereas the AI is going to be very neutral. So I feel that in radiology, those kind of activity or using AI to do a lot of robotic activities can be very high. We also have, when you say AI, it's all algorithm based, and we have partnered with a company by name Glasgow. Glasgow is a UK based company, and we have partnered for algorithms we take from them, and we put that algorithm in our ECG machines. And from ECG, every machine we sell, we load that also, and you can get a report from there. Now, I'm not saying that I'm challenging any doctor or any physician, but somebody can get a report from there, and that doctor can also refer that report when he is doing the report. And those are all done on a very, very large data sampling. That this kind of traces means this, and you get that interpretation report from there. So it's not an absolute report, but it's a more interpretation. So I think AI will take time. I mean, the way it is coming, machine learning is coming, I guess it will take at least another 5-8 years time before most products will have AI packaged in the system. But I don't see that happening
AI as
so
a service.
soon. It is a service, yeah.
Okay, interesting. Great answer. So what are your future plans, and how much money have you raised so far for your company? This is from Dhruv.
So we have raised about, so far about $50-60 million only. And we have done a pretty decent scale now. And I think here is a time when companies again thinking to invest more. And if we get some interesting partnership for the acquisitions or technology buyout, at that time we'll raise the funds. For us, partnering with Goldman and the BPL family is not exciting.
Okay, we're losing you again. You want to repeat that again? You said you've invested about 50 million. You've raised about 50 million.
Yeah, we raised about 50 million.
Yeah,
and we have done very well in terms of the overall return so far. And if we get some nice partnership, and our BD teams, business development team, brings some nice, interesting acquisition opportunity, I don't think fund is a problem for us. We can always get the fund either from the market or from the same investors. That's not an issue today.
Okay, there's a question I want to. This is from Yom. A very interesting question. When you look for a partnership abroad, suppose they have a manufacturing facility, and you're looking out for a tech partner. How do you go about it? What do you look for in a foreign partner?
Yeah, so foreign partners are two things. Let us take, I'm looking at a detector. I'm just taking an example that today everybody's talking of a DR, digital radiography. Now, in India, nobody's making those digital panels. Now, if I know that somebody's making a digital panel, and if I can get that technology and I can bring it here, Indian market is going to be very big on the digital side. And if I get that as it is, whatever way, it could be royalty based, it can be outright purchase, but before that, we do our due diligence on the product. We get those products in-house, we do a proper testings, we do a lot of clinical trials on it. If we feel that this product is good and reliability-wise in the laboratories, EMI and EMC tests it is meeting, when we feel that this is a reliable and good product, then we further go for the next dialogue that, either you partner with us on a joint venture basis and start manufacturing, or sell us that technology. And we will not sell the technology anywhere else. We'll only use the technology to manufacture it. And we can pay upfront for the technology. Also, piece by piece, as we produced for a certain number of years, we can give the fixed royalty for that. So those kind of partnerships are, generally there. And that's the way it is being done.
Fixed royalty on the pricing. Say for every 100 rupees, you pay them 10 rupees or something.
Whatever your decision in terms of initial negotiation, you do that way, and then you lock it for next 2, 3, 4 years. And after that, it becomes completely yours. And you should get the complete source code. You should get all the things so that if you want to modify that, you don't go back then. Then you can use your R&D team to further make it more meaningful for India. Because what comes completely from outside may not be completely fitting your requirement. You might still like to probably fine-tune it. So that's the way it is.
Nice. Okay. What are the 3 or 4 basic points that you suggest while partnering with a non-Indian firm? A few things to keep in mind while dealing with them.
Yeah. So very important is that you should really
This is from Rajdeep. This is from Rajdeep.
Yeah. So most important is that you should realize that the technology which you are trying to acquire or partner, they are not dependent on someone else. If it should be their own design and technology. So that's the first most important. And then you should go and understand the reliability of those machines and clinically what is the efficacy of those machines. So, we generally hire a company who does the due diligence for us. And there are very detailed due diligence questions given to them. And they go very detailed studies are being done by those companies. They give you that report back. We analyze that report and then go and, attempt. I can tell you that we have done so far about 20 such due diligence, and we only found 3 or 4 companies which were worth looking at it. And out of which one we have acquired, and balance 3, because of some reasons later, we dropped it. But it is not that simple. It is not our expertise at a management level, but there are agencies who are expert to do some jobs. And you hire those companies, they help you to decide. They will help you to take those decisions.
So you're saying due diligence very important with companies, because you want to know their trail of money, their quality of manufacturing, the treatment of employees. So that's the due diligence that you do.
There could be some hidden liabilities. You don't know that, if you are acquiring a company and they owe a lot of money back to some suppliers, and you take that and then you get, it's a very detailed due diligence which is being done. Most important, the technology should be their own, and it should be quite latest technology. It should not be a very old technology which is almost at the fag end. So it's a lot of things which you have to take a right judgments.
Okay, great. The next question from Amit. Okay, so he says, are you hiring mechanical engineers as of now with a lot of experience? Do you hire older people?
We have many mechanical engineers for the design side of it, especially because most of these machines need a lot of design side. So design, look at the hardware-driven products like X-ray machines. You need a lot of mechanical guys to come and help you to create the columns and counterbalancing and design of the coach and all of that. So industrial design is where a lot of role from the mechanical engineers are. And no factory.
So they can apply it to you. Are you hiring at this point of time?
Not at this point in time, because at this point in time, overall market is low. You all understand that. But when we again go back and start recruiting, which looks more like at least 2-3 quarters away. But once it has happened, we have been hiring. When we started this company, we were about 200 people. Now we are about 450 people. So we have added 250 in the space of last, say, 6 years time, when we have been hiring a lot of talent.
Okay. Amit, I'm sorry, you can always tell your friend that he can apply in probably 2-3 quarters. But yeah, mechanical engineers always in demand. This is from Rashmi. She says, do young people from colleges get internships with companies such as yourself?
Yeah, I said that. It is very good, and they should look at it. We take internships, and in fact, when we take internship from many institutes, that time we start deciding out of, let's take 10 interns, 2 or 3 appeal so much that end of the internship, we offer them job. So, we have been doing it.
You have been doing it. So she can apply directly even if she's not from the IITs?
No, IIT is not necessarily. I'm saying that most of the guys who are setting up their incubation centers are mostly from IIT. But, we are taking most of the people from MIT or VIT and many other engineering colleges where they are biomed or electronics people. And they have to look at what area they want to go, whether they want to only go for R&D, they want to go for a sales job, or they want to go for an application job. There are a lot of application work also being done today on ultrasound or anesthesia machine or on ventilator. You need technical, clinical people who go and explain to those doctors and do a hand holding. That's an application job. Then you also have a service guys. We have about 100 service people who go and fix those machines when it breaks down. So it's a different area, or some go toward the factory manufacturing. So depending on what interest they have, based on that, they are all welcomed, and based on how much we can absorb, we are always very keen to have young team coming to us and challenging the status quo. Very important.
Okay, great. This is from Karan. Okay, he says, what is a Neuralink? Can you explain to us what a Neuralink is? And do you have any of such devices? Number one. And the next one is from Palak. He says, what is the future of medical devices in India?
No, I don't know the first one. I don't have that answer.
Mm-hmm.
But coming back to the second, I
The
think
sector.
medical sector in India,
Mm-hmm.
my assessment is it will become in 10 years time 10 times. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, sound very bullish, but in my view, if today we are 8 9 billion dollar, I guess we should be in the range of 80 to 100 billion dollar in next 10 12 years. Huge scope. India is going to completely be different in the medical devices. It's my assessment.
Okay, Rushikesh is asking some wonderful questions. He's saying, are you planning to get into small medical devices like blood sugar, smartwatches, something where something that can be high tech, that can, he's apparently seen it in Japan where, these
Yeah.
devices connect to the hospitals directly.
Yeah, so connected devices is the future. And what
Mm.
he's asking is a very valid question, and this is more a home care area or home devices. And I think there's a great future for those machines. If those are
Mm.
connected devices, and why it is required, I'll tell you that also. Today, India has an average age about 70 years. And if
Mm.
you see, it's only about very small population
Mm.
which has crossed 60 years in surviving. Very few have crossed 70 years, 80 years, and 90
Mm.
years. If you look at Japan, Japan has more than a million people who have crossed 100 years. So average age generally is improving. And 1947, when India got, after the partition, when we got independence, that time average age of India was 30 to 33 years. Now we have gone close to 70 years. So, your
Yes.
average age, if it's going, you will have a burden of the senior people, senior citizens, right? You will have aged population. And as that burden increases, the home care devices are going to be more need. Because for every small thing, you would not like to take them to hospital, which should be used more for the tertiary purpose. For that, these connected devices, like we have built a very small device which can be used. You touch across your heart 10 seconds 4 times, and on your paired mobile you can transfer a 12 lead equivalent ECG. Now we have built this machine in the joint venture in collaboration with Intel. So, you need to have many such devices where with the help of app, then you are connected. Even simple things like even weighing machine, simple things like your pulse oximeter or BP instrument. So if that data becomes the EMR, electronics medical record, it will become very meaningful. So what he's asking, those kind of smart watches or smart devices, for sure it will happen. And I think
Mm.
that is where the young team can build those kind of product, partner with companies like us, and we scale it up and take it to the next level. For sure, these are needed.
Okay. The question around now is data, right? Because we're talking about data. What if this is Kushal and Yug's question? I'm going to combine. What if okay, it's all good that the government is doing this, that a lot of corporations are getting to this. What if the data is leaked? It may work for both purposes. Government can use it for bad purposes, for good purposes. There might be people who want to steal data. How can we as a consortium, say if you partner with a startup and start taking data, how can you encrypt that data? Is that an opportunity? Is that a threat for you? What do you think?
See, I think this is a threat today for everybody. I mean, your data is being leaked, and or your banking. There is a lot
Hmm.
of cyber crime happening. I'm not the expert for that, but for
Hmm.
sure, you have to have a multi-layer of security so that your data is not being taken up. That's the one area. And second is that data should be such which cannot be easily decoded, in the sense that your name should not be there on those details. You should have simple codes there, and with the code, if somebody gets your complete data also, what will he be able to do? He can't do much, right? So your details should not go, your personal identification number only should be there when it comes to the healthcare area, and I don't think it should be such a big issue.
Okay, great answer. I want to ask you this, right? I mean, there's a startup that says that it's making something in the dental side, and they have some manufacturing. Can they actually contact you and show the product?
No. So as I told you that we have six portfolios, and now we want to
Mhm.
go deep in that. We want to be really very strongly known in the each 5 6 areas we have gone into. Now oncology or dental and many such areas are very interesting areas, but we
Mhm.
today have decided not to add any more vertical, because
Okay.
if I just keep getting thin and spread ourselves, we will not be able to do a right justice. Now we want to really go deep into the areas we are in. So, my apologies
Can
that
that person ask? Great, sir. Thank you for you said you're kind enough to even apologize. But he says, can you also meet startups on the side apart from your BPL? Would you like to meet startups such as his? I mean, would you give your email to meet people? Do you find time to meet startups at all, Mr.
Yeah,
Khurana?
so there are many programs I have attended, which are where some 20, 30, 50 startup people come, and there are guys who invite them, and they incubate or help them, and have gone and delivered many times those lectures. And to be very honest with you, just everybody starts coming. It is very hard for us to manage that, but I can share one or two such numbers. They are doing a lot of mentoring, and at the right time, they invite people like us to spend a lot of time with them. So
That's a good way. That's a good way. So if you share with me those numbers,
I'll
I'll put
share.
it on IGTV so they can contact them. As startups, they can contact them, their email, and then they can have people like you come mentor these folks. Absolutely. Last few questions, okay, sir. I mean, this is a question again from another Swapnil. 1 second, I'll just ask you. There's so many questions to move up and down. Okay, this is somebody who says that he's in data science, and you can help your machines take a lot of data and analyze them. What is your view on technologies such as analytics for your machines?
Yeah, so right now, I guess the products we are in, we are not looking at too much of data analysis at this point in time, because those are as you move into the little complex products, there your data requirement analytic becomes very high. So the range of product we are in, we probably don't need that much at this point in time.
Okay, fine. Okay, guys, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take contacts from him, put it on IGTV. So you can write to people who organize programs, and they will have him as a mentor who will come and lecture and meet you people, right? You have to remember that he travels a lot, and he's also getting, he has to handle about it's a 450 size team, and it's now crossed 1,000 crores. So I think you must be absolutely busy in running this company. And I sincerely wish that BPL at some point of time sets up a startup program. Would it be okay?
It can be definitely done. I mean, I think it's just a question of bringing that focus, but it certainly can be brought, or we can dedicate a couple of days for that. We can probably have once in a year or twice a year that kind of activity, which can be definitely done. I'll ask my head marketing to probably connect with you and then take it forward.
Please. No, sir, that's lovely. Thank you for being on the show, and thanks to all the startups on the medical side who have joined us, and also from the analytics and the AI side, and also from the HR side to have joined us. This is Mr. Sunil, and we have to congratulate him because an Indian company has supplied ventilators to the UK government, done very well. Now they're going to do it in India too. So all the best to you, sir. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and my best wishes to all the young people who are there. I can just tell you that you are in the right area, and the medical devices is going to really see a wonderful boom in next probably decade, 2 decades. And just stay tuned, and you will definitely see those rewards coming back to you. Thank you.
All the best to you, sir. Thank you. I'll see you in a bit, sir. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Well, that was an insightful discussion about medical devices in India, and great prospects for healthcare. And one thing I can add is that people like you really matter. Large corporates need innovation, and they will come to you. It's only a matter of how the ecosystem will come and play. Keep in mind that there are a lot of health parks coming across the country, and I only hope they set up innovation centers or centers of excellence for startups such as yourself, and it does not become a land grab. Anything around parks, large SEZs is always not kosher sometimes, right? It's always a real estate play rather than an innovation play. But that's going to change with a lot of these policies around self-reliance, and India has to think about it. India has to give 150 million jobs by 2030. And only startups can do it. And also we need to have self-reliance. If we have to do that, then our manufacturing has to grow, right? So on that note, I think India is really a great market. Thank you, all of you, for joining in. By the way, this week's guest list is amazing. I've got the MD of Paytm Games, not Paytm, but Paytm Games coming in. Paytm Games has really scaled up very well. So we're going to be talking to them tomorrow. On Thursday, I have an organic fruits and vegetables startup coming in. Wednesday, I have a wonderful startup. I forget its name though. These are the two things that I remember from my calendar, but tomorrow I'm going to update you more. This week I'm working all days except Sunday, so you can meet some wonderful people at 9. If you missed the show, you can catch it on IGTV, and you can skip parts, you can see the parts that are important to you. Thank you. And if you're a startup, you can come online and say hello to tell us about your idea if you want to do it now. Otherwise, I'm going to see you all tomorrow at 9, okay? So thank you, everybody. Netmark, Palak, Rushikesh, great questions. Swapnil, thanks for those questions. Son of Nisha, thank you. Karan, Vyom, thank you for all this. Please share the schedule in the form of an image too. Yes, I'll put it up on Instagram. Tomorrow I've got Paytm Games. That much I can tell you. If you're a gamer interested in games from India, it's at 9 o'clock tomorrow. I've got an organic fruits and vegetables company on Thursday. On Wednesday, I have another good company, but I can't think of them. I will let you know who they are tomorrow, okay? Thanks, guys. You have a great night, okay, all of you. See you in a bit. Bye. Good night.